The days when I used toilet paper as currency. History books will talk about the COVID-19 pandemic. They will discuss the people we know who died as statistics. What the history books probably won't talk about is the toilet paper shortage. Months before the virus was declared an epidemic in the United States, the virus was spreading across Asia. The news showed clips of people being locked down in an effort to contain it. That couldn't be real. Could it? Of course, I ran to Reddit to get the actual story. People really were being forced to stay in their homes. People in the comments said things like, "That can't happen here." Right? As it happens, I was raised in a sort of doomsday cult. I was taught to have a year's worth of food and supplies on hand. Why? The prophets never really said. But that shit sure came in handy during hurricane season. I use subscription services for anything and everything that I can afford. So every month I'd get boxes of toilet paper delivered to my door. We had boxes stashed in every bathroom and more in storage. Which means we were ready for the sudden toilet paper shortage. I'm not sure anybody really knows why there was a sudden need for toilet paper. Some psychologist online suggested it's because toilet paper has an indefinite shelf life, it's small and something people can have control over. Stores couldn't keep toilet paper in stock. As soon as they put it on the shelf, it was gone. For a few weeks I gave boxes of toilet paper away to the door dashers as part of a tip. I gave a box or two to the postman. Even the mechanic at the garage got a box. We joked about how strange it is to tip people with toilet paper, but they were appreciative. But you won't hear about that in the history books. My friends and I found an old abandoned factory. I don't want to know what happened there. This adventure takes place in the city I live in Germany, and happened around late summer 2023. My friends and I had become a project from our music teacher. We were supposed to record a music video. Since we wanted to have the best music video, we decided to meet up after school and search some cool places in our city to record. We decided to search some type of abandoned building. After some research, we found some places around my city which are abandoned. The most places were guarded or hard to break in. But after we visited some abandoned buildings without any success, we found a large abandoned factory property. We tried to climb up the wall without any success, but after some exploring around the place we found a hole in a metal fence. The hole was not far from the factory, so we decided to give it a try. After walking through some bushes, seeing some random furniture laying between the bushes, we found a stone wall. Luckily there was a hole in the stone wall as well. That was the first time we started to asking ourselves if this really was a great idea. The hole isn't just a hole being broken in, no, it was created by removing bricks from the wall. We decided to ignore that fact and walked through some more bushes. By that time we were a little worried cause the way we walked looked like it was already used by others. After some minutes the path divides into two paths. Only that one of it was only like 5 meters long, leading to an old abandoned camper. We quickly took the other path, leading us to a gate. As we later found out, the gate was one of the entrances on the factory property. Near the gate we found some old rails looking like they were not used in years. We decided to move again into some bushes facing the direction where we thought the building we had seen earlier would be. Also there was a path. But it was already about to be overgrown by nature, so we guessed that that path was not used recently or in the last few years. After some walking through the bushes we find ourselves on a big property, seeing 3 big buildings. 2 buildings were builded next to them, only being separated by the public street we saw the buildings from. Across the building like 300 meters to the right of us was the 3rd building. Now after some exploring we found out that the 2nd building was closed due to risk of collapse. And the 3rd building was a type of warehouse having a big excavator in it. The excavator was already completely broken, and next to the excavator we found an elevator. Now that was the first thing that creeped us out. The door of the elevators had both one glass pane, both of them being shattered. But one of them had blood on it. Now we knew we were safe cause the blood looked very old, but it still made us wonder what the F*** happened here. Now the first building was the most interesting one. It was the biggest of the 3 buildings and was accessible. So we explored it a bit, finding out that the building has a basement. We had flashlights, so we went down there, finding out it was connected to a bunker. We decided to not discover that bunker any further and left after we found some blood on the wall, which also seemed very old. After leaving the building, we found out that behind the building there was another entrance to the bunker, and we went in. We found an old electricity box with a note on it. It was a list of things to repair. But what really shocked us was that on the note there was a date written down. I don't remember the full date, but I remember reading the year 1943. Now we weren't scared of it, but it gave us the idea that we maybe should get out of the bunker since it did not seem very stable. My friends and I recorded the music video in the big building, ignoring the things that we found. Since that adventure we had, we sometimes return there, exploring the buildings more. The only place we keep away from is the bunker and the old camper we found. My sister said it makes her uncomfortable when I sleep without a shirt. Should I stop? I want an outsider's perspective on this. My sister, 20F, moved out to live with her boyfriend, but they broke up and now she's back living at home. Her room was passed on to me, 16M, and now she's expecting to have it back. My parents don't think that is fair, but they did make it to where I have to share the room with her. She's really angry about that and I'm not so happy either. So I was getting ready to go to bed, took my shirt off, slipped into some shorts and turned my fan on. She gave me a weird look and requested that I put my shirt back on because it makes her uncomfortable, but I told her that wasn't going to happen. Then she got angry and said you wouldn't need to take your shirt off if you weren't so damn fat, which is barely fair because I'm only 10 pounds overweight and I've been hot-natured ever since I was a kid. Then she went on to complain about the sound of the fan too. I basically just let the comment roll off my back because I'm not the argumentative type. She's asleep now, but I worry about tomorrow. I expect to hear a mouthful from my parents about it. I mean, it is my room now and it's not like she hasn't ever seen me shirtless. Was I wrong for refusing to sleep with my shirt on? I'm still not understanding why it makes her uncomfortable. I yelled at my mom and my sister to stop arguing. I 19M usually hear my mom and my sister bicker or fight about something that has no business causing an outbreak. I love my mother and my sister, but sometimes I get so irritated when I hear them causing a screaming match in the house, and when I politely ask them to keep it down my mom gets mad at me. But last month is where it was my final straw. This time it got louder and it all started when they just got home. I was going to my room after taking a shower and I was trying to relax and watch some Doctor Who, but all of a sudden I hear my mom and my sister screaming at each other. Then I yelled at the top of my lungs, "Knock it off." My mom tells me to stay out of it, but it was mainly my sister I was yelling at. I also yelled at my mom, telling her to calm down so she doesn't have a heart problem. She told me to calm down, but I told her, forget about me. If ED. I never cared about my health because I'm always worried about my family's health. I continued yelling and my mom got mad at me. All I wanted was for my family to get along with each other, but every time I tried to stop a fight between my mom and my sister I always got the blame. I can't do anything right. I can't even break up a screaming match between my family. I guess I'm a failure as a grandson, as a son, as the older brother, as a person in general.